exclamation of joy. He left his study in his shirt-sleeves and went to the door himself, nearly colliding with the shocked footman who was supposed to attend to such duties. Sir Henry yanked open the door, startling Mr. Sloane, who had his hand on the bell. "Come in, Franklin, come in," said Sir Henry, quite forgetting himself and addressing Mr. Sloane by his given name. He took hold of Mr. Sloane's hand and gripped it tightly. "It is good to see you." Mr. Sloane was taken aback and much affected by his master's unusual warmth. Flushing slightly, he murmured that he hoped he found Sir Henry well. Sir Henry recovered himself and stepped back to allow the footman to remove Mr. Sloane's cloak and hat and take them away. Mr. Sloane, with a worried glance, indicated his concern at the number of carriages parked in the street, many decorated with the coats of arms of well-known physicians or healers. "My lord," said Mr. Sloane, "is everything—" "The child is coming," said Sir Henry. Another moaning cry from upstairs proclaimed the truth of this statement. Mr. Sloane did the unthinkable. He clasped Sir Henry's hand as fellow man to fellow man, not as secretary to his employer, and pressed the cold hand in warm sympathy. "I will pray to God for your lady wife and the child, my lord." "Thank you, Mr. Sloane," said Sir Henry. He turned away, cleared his throat, and then said in his usual formal tone, "Have you dined?" "No, my lord," said Mr. Sloane. "I came straight from the ship. Captain Northrop sends his regards, by the way." Hearing another cry, Mr. Sloane hesitated. "If this is not a good time, my lord, I can return—" "No, no," said Sir Henry. "I need something to distract me. I have not dined either. I fear I cannot offer you a proper meal. The doctors have the kitchen staff boiling water and doing God knows what else." "A bite standing is all I require, my lord," said Mr. Sloane. "I believe we can do better than that," said Sir Henry with a faint smile. He rang a bell and gave instructions to bring a collation of cold meats and cheeses, bread, nuts and fruit, a bottle of wine for himself, and a pitcher of ale for Mr. Sloane, whose strict religious views permitted the consumption of ale, but not wine. The two men retired to the study, where they did justice to the food, and then settled down to discuss Mr. Sloane's recent trip to the city-state of Bratha, and the momentous events that had occurred in Mr. Sloane's absence. "I was not expecting you for another week, Mr. Sloane," said Sir Henry. "I judge by your hasty return that you have important news." "Indeed I do, my lord. King Alaric has withdrawn the Rosian fleet from Bratha." Sir Henry was in the act of raising a glass of port to his lips. He stopped midway to stare, then set the glass down untasted. "The devil he has! What has he done with the ships?" "Ordered them back to Rosia." "He's terrified because of the attack on West Firth," said Sir Henry. "So one would assume, my lord. Have you received any information from your agents in Rosia?" "Not a word. Few ship captains have been either brave or foolhardy enough to venture out into the breath since the attack on West Firth. I can't say I blame them. I saw King Alaric's pride, the royal lion, explode and sink in flames. A terrible sight, Mr. Sloane. The enemy fired only a single shot. A green beam of contramagic from a cannon the size of a popgun. And yet it sank a 60-gun warship." Mr. Sloane appeared suitably impressed. Sir Henry sighed. "I suppose I should have celebrated the Rosian defeat, but I could not bring myself to do so." "No, my lord," said Mr. Sloane. "Understandable. I myself saw those demonic creatures when they attacked your manor house. Do you fear